welcome back to the part 2 of our tutorial on Pharaon by Gipsy Kings. If you already follow the channel, you know that I've already posted a part 1 of this song with the intro, which goes... That was in the demo that I played today as well. So today we're going to be learning the second part, starting from this main phrase. So without further ado, if you haven't watched part 1 already, go watch that so you learn the introduction, and then you'll be ready to jump right into this bit. So let's do it now. Now the first part, we have this little line that has... So that's a combination of hammer-ons and pull-offs. So we have from C sharp, hammering on to D, and then also hammering that on to E, and then pulling off to back to D, and then finally pulling off to C sharp and hitting the D. So it's important that you play that last note. So you got... And then you have that... That's all hammer-ons. Hammer on, pull off. And then again. And then... Then you have this little... That's leading you into playing that again. So you got... One more time, following the music nice and slowly. And then you set up here again. Last time. You can do, but I prefer to lead into the next phrase by going. So that was that first little phrase, that first little chunk that we have. One more time going through it. So imagine we're going from the ending of the intro. Either that chord or just a normal F sharp major. And make sure while you're playing this whole phrase, you're switching in between your I and M fingers constantly. This phrase we have here. So what you do, you take your index finger here and you bar it over the first two strings, string E and string B, of the second fret, considering we have the capo on the second fret as well. So you end up being actually on the 4th fret. And you have this finger ready here on the D. So this E string is just playing the response, and then all the melody is happening in the 2nd and the 3rd string. So that note, that F sharp is remaining constant there. So you've got D, C sharp, B. Oops, one more time. E, D, C sharp, B, C sharp, D, B, or so I like to do 1 E and A, but for now, repeat that one more time. And then that makes you ready for doing it again. So you got just a slur, and then those two notes. So B, C sharp, B, A sharp, and from that A sharp you can go on to the F major sharp 7 chord. So you go. You can just go up, down, up, or down with the raschiatos. So one more time. Last time. And then you repeat that whole thing again, which leads you into the next section. That section. So first get these 2 sections down and then move on to the next section. Okay guys, so after we've done this section the last time, and then we got this new section. And so on. Now this is the most difficult section of the whole song, primarily because it's the fastest section, and also because it requires a lot of strength in the left hand here, because you're constantly using a hammer on here, a slur, constantly using hammer-ons and slurs and pull-offs there. So that's very important to take that into account. Now, follow the notes very, very closely and start to play this very slowly, so bit by bit. Just get that section and get that a couple of times until you get it nice and smooth. So until you can get like that speed. Then you play that 3 times, and the last time so you get in faster speed. I actually played that wrong before when I was doing it slowly. It's actually... So you're doing this section twice. Before I accidentally said this. But that's wrong. And then you just do the F sharp major 7 chord, and then you do that whole thing again. So and then you do that 3 times, and then the ending, and then that's that section done. Now my best advice for this section: relax this hand. When it gets too tense, it gets very hard to do those hammer-ons and pull-offs. So I want you to be very loose while you do this, because when you have the capo on the second fret, you don't really have to press that hard. So if you press just a little bit, like, sorry. So that was fully relaxed when I was doing that, not too much tension on this hand, and accenting those hits. So every time my right hand is playing, that note is accented. So accented. Obviously I was exaggerating it a little bit there, but I hope you understand the point of that. Once you got in that section, play the normal version 3 times, then the last one. And then do the whole thing over again, and then once you get to the end, you're ready for the next section. Now, picking up from where we left off, so we left off on that last chord, and then you get that C sharp note that you have from there, so you hammer it on. That's the first phrase, so you can either slide it, or you can just go hammer it on, or you can just play the note. These little things are very subjective. You can change them to your liking. Like I've changed some of them to my liking, but generally you want to get those notes. So that's the main melody. So that's just, you're doing it slow. You can do it slowly at first without the proper rhythm, but when you get it, you slide off. Now that was just a scale. So one more time from here. And then the third time, you slide up. So with that bit, I would really put vibrato there. Even if you hear it in the original recording, it sounds very, how do I explain this? They play so ponticello and with so much harshness of the thumb. Now this whole section, the bass melody, sorry about that, the camera moved. That whole bass melody is happening with the P, or the thumb as we call it. So that's a thumb melody. That's why it sounds so bassy and juicy. You go. If I was to play that, still nice, but that thumb adds a little bit more bass to it. So when you get to this section, so you got, even if you don't do that slur, you can go add a lot of vibrato and then ponticello, hitting it nice and hard there. So once you get that section, you're ready for the next section, which has got the chord. Let's go into that now. Okay, final section for this part. So this is part one, and then in part two, we'll talk about the rest of the song. But for this section, now even if you learn up to this place, it's still around halfway, a little bit more than halfway through the whole song, and you realize that some of the patterns, like, that's repetitive. So that happens twice in the song, or 3 times, I can't remember. And then the other one as well. So those two get repeated a couple of times, and when we do the run through in a second, you'll see. Now, this last section, it's got the chords. So we've got this chord first. I've got the chart here for you. Get that ready. So you got, then you take your finger off so it becomes a different chord as the chart changes. So you got, now as long as you get that, you can manipulate the bass as much as you like. So when I play it fast, every time I end up playing it a little bit differently, but eventually it sounds a little bit like this. So, that's what happens when I put it together one more time slowly. And then I move to the next chord, which is similar to the G chord we had at the start. And I've got just my P finger on the bass and strings 4, 3, and 2 there. And now you want to get this finger ready here at the bottom. So the main melody. If you realize the main melodies, that's getting repeated as the chords change. And then the next chord, like E minor / G, you got that G at the bottom. Now with this one, I like to change the bass up a little bit. So that's my melody this time. So and finally, those original chords that we had. So in total you get, slowly, and then from there you go straight into, because that's the section that comes straight after in the song. And then after that, there's a whole nother section. But for now, go up to there. So that up to the second time when you go. And then the rest will be said in the next tutorial. Now, in the next section, we're just going to do a slow run through of everything in order of how the song goes as well, so you get an idea. Right guys, so actually I stopped the video for a second and I realized there's still one more part that I wanted to teach in this video, so forgive me for that. But next bit is so that bit. Now you can also do that using your fingers. It's a little bit easier using your fingers. Now the first chord we have here, got a, what is that? It's a B, that's a D, and that's an F sharp. It's basically. That's that. And the next chord, it's kind of like a D7 shape, but over here. It's harder to think about it in slow speed, but in real speed you got and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 times. Now E, B, F sharp. So you got so the F sharp, and then you put the G down. You can even hammer it on, but I just like to go. And then from there, stay there, pull off. Oops, sorry. So you got 4. And then just end it. See, a lot of the sections just end with that F7 chord. And then F sharp 7 chord. And then after that you go into the, for the last time before you have the new part of the melody. So that was the last section actually in reality, even though I made a mistake in the last part of the video. Now let's go to the section where I show the whole thing. Okay, now final bit, and I've managed, as you can see here, if you can see it's a little bit inverted, but on my phone I've managed to get up a backing track for this song with the capo on the second fret at 70 BPM, and it's got kind of like a drum and bass kick in the back, and it's got the chords as well, which is really good. So I'm going to use this as I go through it with you guys. I'll also put a link to this guy's video. It's really good, so it's really nice and steady pace that you can take it through when you practice it. Now I'll start this, it'll give you 4 count, and then we're going straight into the, so be careful. As soon as I start it, it's going to start counting. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, 2, 3, 4. Back. Now, next, then, last time. And then you'll be going into the next section of the song. Now I just realized this one that I've got up here is at a slow speed, but it doesn't go for the full length of the song, so you won't be able to, when you're in the next section, do the whole thing all together. But again, this is really useful. It's by Noor Hergal, free advertising for this guy as well, but I'll link his video down below so you can go check it out and use that to kind of, once you get up to that pace. But first do it without this, because you'll be doing it at a much slower speed, and put those sections together in that order. Watch this last section a couple of times so you understand the order properly, or listen to the actual song as well. That will help. And then in the next section of the video, we'll be talking, sorry, not this section of the video. Next, the phone went off. In the next video, the next part of this tutorial, we'll be talking about the other part of the song, and then the ending, and then all the, that's where the heart of riffs and all that happen as well. So we'll be speaking about that soon. Now, I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. If you did, remember, like and subscribe, and save this video so you have some time to go back over and learn everything. And once you feel confident, then come back and we'll go into tutorial section 2. Thank you. I'll catch you in the next video.